All praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. This is going to be a video that I'm going to title something along the lines of Book of Mormon song says that the Native Americans are Jews, all right? Because basically they've said that in this song, man. So I heard this song, right? I heard this song, and this is what I found I heard this song on a video that I was watching, right? And then after I heard the song on a video that I was watching, then I decided to try and find the song, and then I found the song, and I found that the lyrics definitely indeed did hear or did say what I thought I heard. So let's read these particular lyrics. It says, I believe that the Lord God created the universe. I believe that he sent his only son to die for my sins. And I believe that the ancient Jews built boats and sailed to America, right? That's what they said in this song. I'll say it again. And I believe that the ancient Jews built boats and sailed to America. Let me read it from the top again. I believe that the Lord God created the universe. I believe that he sent his only son to die for my sins. And I believe that the ancient Jews built boats and sailed to America, right? And then when I clicked into this particular thing on this site, when I clicked into the lyric, here's what they've got written down. It says, in LDS cosmology, a group of Israelites led by Lehi indeed sailed from the Middle East to the Americas around 600 BC. The descendants of Lehi include most Native Americans. So they're letting it be known, right, that the Native American, that they've always been known that the Native Americans are the Israelites, man, which goes to show why when Christopher Columbus came over there, that guy is a demon, why he had the why he had the Hebrew interpreter that goes by the name of Luis del Toros, man, or Luis de Toros, right? He came over there with a Hebrew interpreter, man, right? And it wasn't no mistake that they just found these people living there, right? They knew exactly who they was looking for. They went over there knowing exactly who they was looking for, man. And that's why it's also no mistake that after they was able to destroy the Native Americans over the land of America, that they decided to bring the rest of them over there, the rest of the tribes of Israel, the southern kingdom, which is the Negroes and the Negroes, the dark skinned, the darker skinned brothers than them, that are also Israelites. Why they then took them to America, the exact same group of people. It's not a surprise, because this had to be done by Yahweh. Yahweh performed this because he made the house of Israel all together be punished in Babylon together, as it says in the scriptures. Judah and Israel were punished together. They was in captivity together, right? But what I'm going to show in that is that this thing that they're mentioning here is in the scriptures, right? This thing that they're mentioning here is in the scriptures, man. This is backed up by the Bible. Not necessarily everything that they're saying about the Lehi and all of that. I don't really know about all that, but I know that the scriptures say that the Israelites went to a place, right, that they called Arsareth, but really that place was now in the modern time is getting called America, man, right? But what was it called before it was called America? What did they call it? Those Israelites that went over there, what was they saying, right? And that's just hidden in a song, right? And that's what I mean, man. Like when it comes to Yahweh, right? You can be doing something that's not like the video that I was watching was not of no kind of informative, nothing informative really, man. It was a bit of folly, to be honest. I'll be real, man, right? But from that folly, there was truth, and in the video, they was somewhat trying to pretend and mock the Bible. But in their mocking of the Bible, right? In their mocking of the Bible, I found that they actually showed truth within that video. They showed truth within that video, man. Let me read this. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 40. In fact, in verse 39. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, who Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive. and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. But they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow place of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. So they was traveling by boats to get to this place, man. Just like how that person said in that song, in that Book of Mormon song, how they said in that song, right? And I believe that the ancient Jews built boats and sailed to America, which is the same thing that Hebrew Israelites been talking about, man. But these people don't want to. A lot of people have been saying this as well, man. But people, of course, are not going to want to accept that these people are Israelites, because then they would have to get punished for what they did to those people. And then they would have to say, you know what, we can't keep complaining. We can't keep highlighting and calling some anti this word or anti that word, what happened to these people, if we're not prepared to put the anti that word and the anti that word on what happened to these people that the world calls Native Americans. Or we can't put this anti this and anti that on these people that are called Negroes in this world, or are called black in this world. We'd have to put that anti thing on them then, because what happened to them was way worse. What happened during the Atlantic slave trade and what happened to the Native Americans was way worse than what happened to anybody else that's coming with some anti this or anti that talk. You know? And that's one of the reasons why the world don't want to accept that we're the chosen. Because that would mean that they know they're going to have to pay for what they did in a biblical fashion. It's not going to be no carnal way that they're going to pay. It's going to be a heavenly way that they're going to be judged from, man. Because they've messed with the God, with the Most High Yahweh's people. Verse 41. But they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow place over the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth. Then they dwelt there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come, and that place is America, man. But people don't want to accept. A lot of people don't want to accept that, but that's because they don't want to accept that they're gonna have to pay for what they did to these people, man. Now I went on YouTube and I just typed in Native Americans, Jews, and Mormons, and as you can see, loads of people have heard this message go out, man. Right? Here's this title here: Native Americans descended from the lost tribes, from the lost Jewish tribe. Right, which now that I've said that word, there ain't no telling what they'll try and do, man. But anyway, right, there's people that are suggesting that's true, right? But then they go and say, nah, actually, I believe it came from the heathens, right? Then you've got this one here, the Book of Mormon's history of Native Americans, right? Which in that video they say the same thing. Here's this one. It says the Book of Mormon, Evidence, Part 7, Native Americans with Hebrew ancestry. Here's another one, Hebrew and Egyptian in Native American languages. Now, why would the Native Americans have Hebrew and Egyptian in their native languages? Why would that be found among their tongues? Why would they have that kind of similar speech among them? Why? Because the Israelites was among the Egyptians. So of course they're going to pick up certain trends of knowing that and of being familiar with that particular language. Of course they would, because they was among them. Here's this video. It says lost civilizations, proof Native Americans are Hebrews, right? So that information's out there. And here's this: lost blank tribe thought to be Cherokee Native Americans, because you can't even say that word, man, because things get dark, you know, things get dodgy when it gets to that, when you start talking about the truth. People start getting a bit shaken up, man. Now here's this video, and which this person tries to say, nah, I don't believe that these people are that, because they don't want to put that on us. They don't want to put that on us, man. They don't want to accept that. They don't want to accept that. Here's this video here: Native Americans are Hebrew Israelites. 23 arguments by James Adair 1775, which I've actually got that book, but it's a lot to go into. It's a lot to go into in that book, man. It's a lot to go into in that, right? But I'll say one point that they made in that book, that the Native Americans had refuge cities, man. In that book, it mentions that Native Americans had refuge cities, and who else had refuge cities? Did not the Israelites have it? Now here's another video: Native Americans and the lost tribes of Israel. So the information's out there, man. You Native Americans better wake your ass up and realize who you are, man. And that's the reason why Yahweh jacked you up, man. Because you was not listening. You was not listening to who you are. You was rejecting who you are and living like heathens, man. And that's the same thing why the so-called black man had got punished for what he did as well. Because he was trying to not listen and was trying to ignore who he was, man. Right? He was trying to not listen to who he really is. Right? But yeah, that's the video anyway, man. That a Book of Mormon song, right, has a lyric saying that the Native Americans are the children of Israel, right? And I'm going to end the lesson there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.